Hey everyone, it's Calvin, also known as Omar, and this is Ace Attorney Chronicles. This is my first ever playthrough of Ace Attorney Chronicles, The Runaway Room. So far, the themes...
Over my records of the late last century,
I forgot about this.
Faced by the events of a certain bitter winter. A murder in a carriage as it sped through dense London
Inside the
fog
carriage.
in the dead of night. Though the victim and the perpetrator were the only ones inside, there were multiple witnesses to the crime itself. However, none could have imagined at the time that such a seemingly obvious case as this would end in such a horrendous manner.
So spoilers, dude.
My friend, Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Oh, he's back.
Incident. I believe that perhaps that case was indeed the prelude. The beginning of a long concerto that impressive Japanese student and I were to play.
Oh, we're working together again? You know what's funny? I genuinely thought that, like, my voice would kind of be perfect for that. Oh my god, this is so pretty! Oh my god, look at that! The outfit!
Amazing. Is this really just a railway station?
My voice has been very bad for this boy too.
I've never seen such an enormous building before.
And look at all the steam locomotives.
Oh, this is so pretty. Jesus
This
Christ.
country is incredible.
Oh my Oh my god. This is why I want more animated cutscenes in this. It's gorgeous.
I feel like I'm dreaming.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
You already have the accents down anyway.
Where to?
Oh, hello.
Climb aboard. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
Wherever?
In that case, the Supreme Court in Whitehall, if you wouldn't mind.
My pleasure.
His pleasure.
I suppose
Oh.
you're visiting students from abroad, eh?
Yes.
Oh, this is so sweet. Oh my god, look at this.
Well then, I hope you enjoy your stay.
Those little kids are dirt poor as well, though. That's the thing. They're like, they have no money.
To the center of the world.
They're trying to make it really magical. Those kids got like half a penny for that. The magical world of London, where kids get half a penny for their work. Whoa, my lord. '18th of February, 9:21 a.m. British Supreme Court, Lord Chief's Justice Office. That's a weird name. Like, yeah, the presentation is always really fantastic in this game. Like, look at this; it's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know. I really love the presentation. A lot of people have been talking about, by the way, the length of the videos, how they've gotten a bit longer. I'm on holidays for until basically the 20th. Of this month. So basically I've been able to make videos a little bit longer and I have a lot of time on my hands. I have no problem doing that right now. I just hope people don't get too used to it. Yeah. Now, for games like Tears of the Kingdom, like I think that I'll have a lot more energy to play those because they're just basically long stretches of just combat most times in those games. So like there will be like a little bit easier to play them instead of just talking constantly. But you know what I mean? Like, don't get too used to it, please. Don't get too used to it. That's not a really good sell for new people, is it? You know what thing you like about the channel you just found? Don't get used to it. What an incredible place. It's so imposing. It's almost suffocating. This place is breathtaking. It looks like a fortress. There's some stone buildings like this in Japan now, of course. But they've only been built in a few short decades since we opened our borders to the outside world. An authentic example like this is a quite different impact, wouldn't you agree? A far cry from the wood and paper most of our buildings are constructed from. It's certainly unfamiliar. But I think there's more to the differences than just construction materials. What is this place again? This is the Lord Chief Justice's office, Naruto-san, in the Supreme Court of Great Britain. The Lord Chief Justice. Such a weird name, Chief Justice. Like he was born like Gerald Justice or something? I know it's not that, by the way. I know it's not that. We had instructions to report here at this time if circumstances were different. We were supposed to let the Lord Chief Justice know that we had arrived from Japan. But Kazuma can't. No. So instead, we are here in a different capacity. As envoys to report the news of Kazuma-sama's death. Yes. And having delivered his or her message, envoy's duty is done. So we have to return to Japan. If we want to remain here in Great Britain, I have to take Kazuma's place as the law student selected for the study tour. Yes, which means you need to requisite qualifications. You need the requisite qualifications as a lawyer. Interesting that you have that voice, Suzato, if that is your real name, which is what I've been studying for. Here in Great Britain is the Lord Chief Justice who appoints lawyers. So that's the second reason why we're here, to have you officially recognized as a lawyer. It's the only way we'll be able to remain here in London. I hope I'm up to scratch. I'm not. Ah, good morning. Sorry for keeping you. Who is this? He looks like Scar, like with the scar on his face. Oh. I trust you aren't too exhausted after a long voyage from Japan. It seems I'm 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 47 seconds late. My apologies. Oh no, don't mention it. We're never happier than when we're standing with nothing too much to do. Yeah, I suppose it's of what we've been through. How fortunate. So introductions, I am Mel Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of the British Empire. I feel a little like a little mouse on an elephant's foot. He is very big. Come on, Mr. Naruto. Don't be a mouse. Oh, it's an honor to meet you, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart. I'm Ryunosuke Naruto from the Empire of Japan. Well, Mr. Naruto. Welcome to London, the capital of our glorious British Empire. See, even him saying it like this makes Britain sound evil already, and they were doing some pretty evil shit at this time. Yes, thank you. That doesn't discount the fact that, like, of course, like, if you went to Britain at the time, you would find it be actually amazing, like, and also so advanced in a lot of ways. Also, we can converse. We can also present. So, what do you think about... Oh, I have an armband? Yeah, let's not do that just yet. So we can converse with this boy. Let's talk about London. Is London his friend? So, what are your impressions of our capital so far? How do you like London? Oh, well, I've seen like 300 poor people and they're not getting any help. That's London for you. That will change though in modern times, I'm sure, right? Yeah, totally. I've been so nervous ever since I got here that I can't remember a single thing about the city. It's simply splendid, isn't it, Mr. Naruto? Oh? We had a wonderful view of some London streets from the carriage on the way here from the station. Everything's so impressive and grand. I must say I'm almost lost for words. I'm glad to hear you like it. The city boasts tramways, piped waterways, and gas, even cables supplying electricity. We spearheaded every revolutionary new technology in the world. Every visitor to London is astounded. Oh yes, astounded is the word. Thanks for saving me there, Suzato-san. And everyone seems so jolly and full of vigor. Yes. There's much excitement about the upcoming great exhibition we will be hosting here in London. Great exhibition? Oh! Cultural and technological achievements from around the globe are to be exhibited here in our great city. It will be the greatest spectacle of its kind in history. I want to make Paris's World Fair look like a toy shop. Gosh, I can hardly imagine how magnificent it's going to be. Great Britain's capital city is nothing but magnificent. London is the center of the modern world. Even if you do say so yourself. I mean, yeah, like, again, a lot of it is because, like, they've pushed other people down so they can climb up the ladder. That's it. That's pretty much it. And it's actually a horrible thing to think about. Like, so many of the world's, like, you know, advancements happened because, like, people like this were able to just sit back and think while other people didn't have the same privilege, you know? Perhaps it is fate that at this progressive time. Progressive? We welcome visitors from the progressive. We welcome visitors from the land of the rising sun. So I'm a law student? Lord Chief Justice. I think you were expecting a student of law for this study tour, weren't you? Absolutely. Mr. Kazuma Asagai. If my memory serves. I know I'm pronouncing Asagai wrong. I know, I like Asagai. It might be Asogi. Asagai just sounds cool. That's right. The British government has already been telegraphed a full report on the situation. I understand young man lost his life aboard the steamship bound to our far shores. That's amazing. The news reached him even before we arrived. It's kind of cool that we have a character who's reacting to all the new stuff he's finding here in Britain. My country naturally extends its deepest condolences to yours. Oh, thank you. And you honor this appointment specifically to inform me of the news? Yes. We are here in the capacity of envoys to Japan to report the sad news in person. They tell me you Japanese are people of protocol and courtesy, and I see that it is true. And it is with some regret that I must inform you that the death of the young lawyer means the study tour ranger can no longer proceed. No, it's gonna proceed. If you just hear us out, Lord Strongheart. What do you have to say, madame? It's about the study tour. Mr. Naruto here would like to make a proposal. Would he now? Well, Mr. Naruto. This is it then. The moment of truth. Continuing the study tour. You have me instead. Fair trade? You receive a worse lawyer. I receive all the benefits. The thing is, Lord Justice, Lord Strongheart, I was wondering if perhaps you would consider allowing the study tour to go ahead. Don't misunderstand me. Britain would ideally like to see the tour go ahead. But without a lawyer from your country, there's nothing to be done. Well, in that case, what if there was someone else? Another lawyer from Japan, I mean. Is there something I don't know? Only a single lawyer was invited to Great Britain from your country, and that was Mr. Asagai. At least that is what I've been led to understand. Well, the thing is, this really isn't going well at all. I just can't seem to find the right words to say this to man. Is Suzato gonna help us again? There she is. Miss Naruto, I could ruin things here if I'm not careful. What am I going to say? If there's someone else here from Japan who could be described as a lawyer, it's me. It's me. I can do it. Or is it supposed to be Suzato? Did I forget? I mean, oh no, she's the assistant, didn't she? I don't actually have any qualifications as such, but... No qualifications, you say, and yet you still claim to be a lawyer. I have acted as a lawyer in court before. Only once, as it happens, but I won. And I had Cosmo to help me, and I was the accused, but glossing over the details. I've been spending every spare moment of the journey here to Great Britain studying. I'm really kind of upset they didn't do a chapter where you just had to study. That would have been cool. I would have been impressed. I've learned all about British law and court proceedings while I was on the board the SS. My clock says it's shut up time. The voyage from Japan is for some 50 days, I believe. Not what you might call a full education. To become a qualified lawyer here in Britain, was it like... Okay, let me take a guess. I don't know. I'm gonna say like... Maybe back then it was like 3 years? but like, I think it's like 4 to 7. No, that's being a priest, isn't it? Priest is 7 years. Degree in law. You must also complete several years of training. Several. Yeah, see, several. That's what I meant. I realize it's far too short a period of time, but I can't just go back to Japan. Cause Mr. Asagai's journey had only just begun. Coming here on a study tour was all he thought about. I have to carry on and do everything he planned to do. I know it must sound like I have an overly inflated opinion of myself, but I would do anything to prove that I have what it takes. Any test you care to set me. Just one chance. That's all I'm asking for. Please. 31 seconds. Sorry? Your opening statement there, Mr. Naruto. It was 31 seconds long. Not too brief, not too protracted, a perfectly judged appeal, I would say. Which is a skill that would stand you in a good stead as a lawyer. Oh, thanks. So you're willing to put those words to trial, are you? Well, I'm all for entertainment. Huh? But let me ask you one thing first, sir. Yes? Music is really cool. You say you intend to do everything Mr. Asagai planned to do. Are you firmly set on that path? Well, yes, that's my intention. I see. Am I imagining things? Or did his expression just alter a fraction there all of a sudden? Very well. You have your wish. I'll give you a chance. To test to become a specifically certified lawyer. Whether you pass or fail is entirely down to you. Really? Oh, we have a test. So what form will the test take exactly? Tell me, Mr. Naruto, what do you consider the role of a lawyer to be? Well, defending people, of course. Well said. So let's have you defend someone. Huh? Oh, my watch says you're a little... I was about to say the B word, but I don't like saying that. It's like, I know, it's just one word I don't like saying. Your timing is perfect, in fact. There's an apt trial about to begin later today. No advocate has been appointed for the defense as yet. So this will be welcome news. Today? Straight away? If you manage to secure a verdict of not guilty, you'll have passed my test. What could be simpler? I don't know about that. How do I get myself into these situations? You literally put your hand up, dude. You picked up the gun that time, off the ground for some reason. You know? You stowed away on the ship. Well, could I ask what sort of trial it is, Strongheart? I'm going to miss doing this voice a lot. That was like my favorite thing to do. Yes, good question. I remember. It's a murder trial. A murder? An extremely simple case, I understand. You really can't lose. That's easy to say. But I should mention, just in case, if the defendant is found guilty, he will of course be sentenced to capital punishment. So he might get like a slap on the butt cheeks. That's tough. That's tough. For me, like I don't agree with the death sentence. That's my personal take on this always. But this was back then, so obviously like they were like, yo, what if we just kill this person? And it's still a thing today, of course. But like they were like back then, they were all serious about it. They were like, hey, yo, guys, here, look, hear me out. What if we frickin' murder them? Capital punishment? Hell, he'll be put to death? Here in Great Britain, murderers are sent to the gallows without exception. The gallows. Oh, I kind of want to see the gallows. Presumably you read that much in your short C-based introduction to British law. Yeah, we should know this by now, right? If we did, that's like probably one of the first things you realize is like the punishments or like what happens if someone loses. I think so anyway. Like that's what I would look up first, I suppose. We can't possibly agree to such a test. We'd be toying with a man's life. I'm the Lord Chief Justice and I've decided it's acceptable. But you can't do that, can you? There's no need to overcomplicate this. All you have to do is ensure that you don't lose. That's easier said than done. So the defendant may live or die, depending on how well I perform in court. If I lose, he'll be hanged. Mr. Naruto! Oh, the birds! You've come to me claiming to be a lawyer. I don't think we claimed it. If you want me to take you seriously, you need to prove you're willing to do a lawyer's job. And you say you intend to see through the will of your compatriot, Mr. Asugai. I would like to understand just how far you're willing to go in order to make that happen. He's testing my resolve. What's the matter? You've fallen silent. Oh, so what's the matter? You've fallen silent. I'm sorry, but time is pressing. I need an answer from you now. What is it to be? What do I say? Do I agree to this absurd test? Of course. Of course, like what, like, why shouldn't we agree to this test? Of course I'll do it. It's difficult? Yeah, it is difficult. If I have to give the decision now, my answer is, I can't do it. I can't get the words out. Take the words out! 15 seconds. Your decision making needs work if you want to be a lawyer. That was too slow. Sorry? You have noble intentions, but lack the resolve to see them through. That sounds like us. The test is cancelled. Thank you for stopping by. No, I'll do the test. They didn't just do a choice for me that I can't. Oh. Go and acquire to. I'm Irish, so it doesn't feel good a British man doing a waving hand motion to tell me to go away. And I think so. Go and acquire your ticket for passage back to the east. Tomorrow this conversation is over. Yes, Lord Strongheart. Just accept the frickin' trial right now, buddy. Thank you for offering me a chance. Mr. Naruto. I'm sorry, Mrs. Sato, but what could I do? It's alright, I understand. You do? It's not an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances, but resolve has absolutely nothing to do with it. What are you trying to say, madame? I think what Mrs. Sato means is that no matter how badly I like to recognize as a lawyer and stay here in Great Britain, to risk another man's life by treating his one and only chance at a trial so trivially would be utterly unforgivable, and I feel exactly the same way. I'm sure the defendant won't see this trial as a test, as some kind of experiment. A lawyer may fight for his clients in court day after day, but for each one of his clients, the particular day they stand in the dock may be the only chance they have to fight to prove their innocence. No, I was wrong. I'm not qualified to do that job yet. I'm sorry for wasting your precious time, Lord Chief Justice. Interesting turn of events here. Wait, Mr. Naruto. Was there something else? It's approximately 20 minutes by carriage to the Old Bailey from here. If you leave immediately, you should still be there in time. But I just said that I was quite serious in what I told you. The defendant in this case has literally no one to advocate for him. What? At this point, he can't hope to find someone to represent him. The trial will begin without a defense. Or if that happens, there's only one possible outcome. He'll lose. He'll lose horribly. He will receive the most severe sentence the judge can pass down. But that's awful. But that is the truth. Why does it have to be like this? Please don't expect an answer to every question. The cold, hard truth of the matter is that there's only one person with a chance to save this man from a very miserable end. And that is you. I'm really his only hope. So, what do you say now, madame? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? You said it wasn't an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances. Sorry, and I agree. That's his new voice. But in my estimation, it is purely and simply a matter of reserve. Oh. Our time is up here. I have a meeting to attend. I must leave in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. He's all about time. He's very efficient. So venture into our great city and enjoy yourselves. Oh, free roaming. We're gonna have to move around like 3D character models. This is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be crazy. He's gone. He disappeared? The Old Bailey. If we're going to do this, Miss Naruto, we must leave at once. Should we converse? What to do? Mrs. Otto, can I oh no, she's going for it. Careful. From this position, I can perform Mrs. Otto takedown in an instant. I know. Mr. Naruto, you heard Lord Strongheart. The trial starts immediately. If I need to throw you, I will. You know, you could just say I think we should hurry to the courtroom. If you need to ask me anything, you had better wait until we're at the Old Bailey. I agree with her. Let's go. Can we examine the place a little bit though? Mrs. Otto. Oh no, we can't. Oh god, we could only do it earlier. Oh, that's kind of disappointing. Look, that's fine. Look, we missed a chance. We have to go to the Old Bailey. Hopefully that's free roam as a tree character around the place now. '18th of February, 94 at 9:45 a.m. The Old Bailey defendant's antechamber. What? Look at these cops. Look at these cops here with their little hats. Oh, George, do you like your nipple hat?
Oh, I do, Bill. I love my nipple hat too.
Our nipple hats make us the most authoritative figure in all of Great Britain.
Yes, and also our coats. They are grey and dull, just as I like them.
People are gonna wear this to parties one day.
I don't think so, Bill. That's not how it works. Who will wear a nipple hat to a party? This is way too official.
Oh, thank goodness. We're in time. There's still 15 minutes until the trial begins. We did a good job there. I never a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were going to rattle loose. Did you hear what they said to the driver when we climbed aboard? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver, and there's a guinea in it for you. It's one of my favorite lines from the Herlock Sholmes stories, and it worked quite perfectly. We're probably going to see Herlock again in this chapter too, I'd say. Like, we got a hint that he's going to be back. I'm not sure why you're so pleased. I thought we were going to die, and we had to pay the gold for the privilege. Well, at least we arrived here before the trial started. Yes, I suppose there's that. Anyway, I don't understand it. The court clerk said the defendant should be here. I was just looking at the time of the recording. Usually we'd end a recording around here. It's so funny that like a lot of people in the comments are like, this is way better. And it's like, oh, my usual stuff isn't good. I'm joking. I know people aren't saying that like my usual stuff isn't good. I know that's not what people are saying. But it's like kind of funny if you read it that way. Where people are like, man, the commentary is much better as well. And you're like, oh. Like, genuinely, like I said, if this was my job, like if Patreon worked out and I had, like, I have a Patreon and if I had like a lot more money pumped into it, of course. I'm not saying people have to. Do not use that as a reason to only support Patreon if you ever want to. And if like my ad revenue is a little bit higher, like this could totally be a full-time gig, and like I would be recording like 2-hour videos every freaking day, maybe even more. Because like I think it is like, you know, I do have a full-time job. Just to let people know, I do work 9 to 6 now. I'm usually home by 6. I leave the house at 8 in the morning, go home by 6, which isn't terrible. It's actually kind of nice. And then, you know, you're kind of tired in the evening, so you can't really record a bunch of videos. So, like, you have to record in bulk. You also have to have a social life and a weekend as well, you know? Yeah. But there's no sign of him at all. So this is the Old Bailey. Even this room for defendants to wait in is grand. Are you right, Mr. Naruto? Sorry for the sidetrack there. I'm feeling tense, that's all. That's completely normal to feel tense in this situation. I mean, like, who wouldn't feel tense in this situation? This place gives me a sense of foreboding. The same sense of foreboding that I remember from the Supreme Court in Japan. This is only our second trial, if you think about it. We did a case last time, an investigation last time. An oppressive air, almost as if the building itself is going to crush whoever is about to be sentenced. It feels like only yesterday that I was the one about to be crushed. Yes, whoever the man you're to defend is, I imagine he's feeling very alone at this moment. Top of the morning to you, madam, sir. Who is that? Oh my god, are we defending this guy? Are we defending this guy? What are you doing for me here? Things are very desperate, are they? Sorry? Would you look at those expressionless faces from the East, are yous? We're from Japan. Yes, oh my god. Ah, Japan, is it? Right, say no more. So how much do you need? What? No, we're just here because... No need to explain, fella. I've been there myself, so I have. No place to go, no need, barely any penny to your name, and all the while in a strange faraway land. I think it's more like... My voice is like more New Zealand. Amber, if you're watching this, I apologize. Well, actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet. No. Oh my god, look at those rings. Tis grand, tis grand. Let me start by giving you 1,000 guineas. Say nothing there. 1,000 guineas? Please, Mr. Sato, you don't have to shout. But 1,000 guineas is enough to build an entire mansion in the most prestigious area of Tokyo. What? There's nothing to me at all. I like to ensure I have sufficient funds to weather a rainy day, you see. I've enough wealth to buy a city of London 2 or 3 times over. Could that much rain fall even in one day? Well, even so, we couldn't possibly accept such a large sum of money. Look at this guy. His character design is amazing. Are we defending him? Please say we're defending him. Oh, that hit me in the eye. Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving you no strings attached. I'll be wanting you to do something for me. Oh? To be honest, it is a little embarrassing. The trial's about to begin, you see. It's for me good self here. I'll be in the dock. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you'll be my lawyer. But that's just a little detail now. Oh, well, the thing is... Don't worry about a thing. All you have to do is stand up there next to me. Nothing more. Otherwise, you see, the trial's going to start without me having any kind of representation at all. So it's true. The Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making it all up. I'm so happy. I'm terribly sorry to have to ask, but does that mean you're defended in this trial? Blustering places. Do yous not know who I am? Me? One of London's biggest names? No, sorry. We've only just arrived in the city, you see. I say. I suppose it isn't altogether impossible. We're just next to Hyde Park. There in the centre of London is another beautiful park. Sorry? A park? What? Tis called McGilded Park, full of blossoming flowers in the spring and singing birds and whatnot. I donated to the city, I did, so I did. An entire park in central London? A city of smiles. That's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus McGilded wouldn't do for the city, and it's a queer old people. That's amazing. I mean, really extraordinary. But now they've got the gall to say I'm a good for non-criminal. Me, Magnus McGilded. What's the matter with London police, I ask you?
What you say, boss, no nippleheads?
Alright, don't pass out. Miss Naruto. Perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves while the gentleman catches his breath. Good idea. Mr. McGilded. The thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students on a study tour from Japan, you see. So, if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands, we'll do our best. What was I have to say, you daft idiot? I've given you 1,000 guineas to stand up next to me, haven't I? Well, yes, but I wasn't really offering to just stand up next to you. Oh. Oh, I think I see what's going on here. Sorry?
I know what you're thinking. There's chance of a fella claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why the blazes can he hard to find his lawyer in all of England? Because he did it. That's the only explanation. Well.
Well... Not at all. Not at all. Although, it's a little strange to be honest. Why don't you have a lawyer, I mean? They were intimidated by the fancy fashion this guy has.
That would be the fault of the Reaper.
Sorry? Did he just say Reaper?
Ah, the Grim Reaper of Bailey, Lord Barak van Zieks. He's the prosecutor.
The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper?
When Van Zieks stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned.
What?
So it's reached a desperate situation where there's no one willing to stand in defence against the fella at all. You could say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey.
Goodness, Lord Barak van Zieks. He must be an exceptional talented prosecutor then.
Talented isn't the word you're looking for, madame. It's cursed.
Cursed? What on earth? The defendant is summoned, and his counsel. Please make your way to the courtroom. The trial is about to begin. His counsel, that would be me?
Oh, 'tis time. Well then, fella, don't let me down.
But I don't know anything about the case.
You haven't told me what happened. Until you showed your face here, I made up my mind, so I had.
Sorry?
I've decided I'd have to defend myself in there.
How would that have worked?
But then you made an appearance, assumed the law, wouldn't you know?
I love this guy so much.
'Tis no accident, I can assure you of that. 'Tis fate. So don't get cold feet now, please.
I literally know nothing about the case or about this man who stands accused. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't just turn my back on him. Fact about it. Mr. Naruto. The man has no one. He'll have to stand alone in that quorum, armed with nothing to defend himself. Yes, something the Cosmo never would have allowed to happen. Counsel of Defense, what are you doing?
If you're late for the start of the trial, you will lose your right to stand and you will have to wear a nipple hat. That's a privilege.
I'll be right there. Everything's so punctual here. It's happening then. My first trial in the British court. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Aw. Because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. You can do it. You can do it. I believe in you. And we have such a great defendant. Like, it's over. Like, you know, like already we can defend this guy. What's the judge going to look like? 18th of February. Oh, the fire. 10 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Oh my god. It's a full-on group of British people. Oh no. There's more than one? I didn't know there was more than one British person. So this is the highest court in Great Britain, the Old Bailey. The centuries of... Imagine Junko was just sitting there. The centuries of history in this place are palpable. Isn't it so different to the Supreme Court in Japan? It feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes words redundant. That's actually... Okay, I went to a courtroom in third year of college. We went to watch over court proceedings. Because, like, I forgot what it was. I think a bunch of us were just like, hey, let's just go see what it's like. And we went in, and, like, that's the word I can use to describe when I went in. Because that was my first time ever in a courtroom. And it's, again, it's imposing and serene. It's very calming. It feels very, like quiet and kind of, like, you can hear almost everything. But at the same time, it's incredibly, like, imposing. That's a perfect way to describe it, I think. Cesaro described. And this is the Supreme Court. Can you imagine how it feels here? Is this the Supreme Court? Is that what it said? Whenever the country determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair. The different angles they like show the characters at like really do help, I think, with the presentation of the game as well. Like it makes the game flow a lot better too, because like it's like it keeps it like interesting. I know it sounds like the thing is like we're animals at heart, you know what I mean? So moving colors and moving pictures still like amaze us, and that's kind of what's happening with me. Oh yes, what? Oh my god, he's so nervous, my boy. Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again. I know, but I just can't help it. Who the hell is this? Oh my god! Santa! What a fantastic design! That is so freaking good.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare the court to be in session.
Oh my god. We were to determine the guilt of Magnus McGillen. You British people are so weird. Look at this.
I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution defense to declare the willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is fully prepared. That must be the Reaper of the Bailey. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch his poor victims to the underworld.
Counsel for the defense, you appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English?
Huh? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. Oh, he learned English. But he asked the defense if the defense was ready, and I couldn't be further from ready if I tried. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. You didn't tell me to be handsome people in Britain. Hold on a second here now. Look at the silhouettes in the background as well. Those eyes, please. Like, it's so weird because like I feel like my British voices always sound very like not British. Like they always sound like super like out of left field, not British whatsoever. And like something I realized in the last video as well when I was doing the voice of Nicolina and the voice of of Sholmes, is that Nicolina kind of sounded a little bit like Fran from Final Fantasy 12, and then like I was trying to do Balthier as well from trying. I'm not saying I did it perfectly or even well, but you know what I mean. It's kind of weird that like how like that kind of subconsciously popped into my mind when I was doing each other's voices like together, I guess, because like, you know, you can't really escape the games you love and never will be to escape the game. I don't want to escape them either. Those eyes please me, Nipponese. They shroud your fear, your doubt, your trepidation. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb. Ugh, a cold shiver just ran down my spine all the way to the tips of my toes.
Now, Mr. McGilded.
Yes, my lord.
You stand accused of murder, a capital offense. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this foreigner?
Oh, come on, McGilded.
As I always said, my lord, 'tis a grand thing to give opportunities to the young.
I love this man so much.
Even if the fellow is a student from a little island off in the Far East. It is not the British way to ignore dangers to yourself and give those less fortunate a fair chance.
Is it not the British way to ignore the dangers to yourself and give those less fortunate a fair chance? Let's not speak. I cannot speak or I will be in trouble.
I'd like to think that acts of chivalry do the great British Empire proud.
I mean, in British stories, that's always been the thing. It's like been chivalry and, you know, yeah, that's like a very common... Oh my god, look at this. The camera's moving around him. You donated £5,000 to the government. So the government, that's bad. Mother, please, maybe go and play in McGilda's Park. So he is like a beloved person in this town. It seems though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGilded. That's definitely welcome news, as he certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised that he couldn't convince anyone to defend him. I think this guy's voice is not supposed to be as crazy as I'm giving him, man. Too late. Too late.
Eloquently put, Mr. McGilded. A most laughable statement. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly remind you.
Oh my god.
that you 6 members of the public have been selected.
Professor Layton over here, look at this. Have been selected for your impartial... Okay, let's even guess what each of their names are going to be. If we can, okay? So we have over here on the far left with the blonde beard. His name is going to be George. Then in the middle here you have the maid from Black Lagoon. Here you have Jack. You have Onslow. No, what's his name? The Onsler. Right there you have. I don't know. She kind of scares me. Yeah, Professor Layton with a mustache, and you have Old Lady Magoo. That's all their names. Juror number 1.
Yes, my lord. If the task is sent to rotors to the gallows, where they belong, I'm on ready.
At the manor, his lordship always says we should dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree. Ha! Any criminals here will soon be wishing they never set eyes on me.
Yeah, as I guessed. Oh, he's drinking. He's drinking.
I feel a chill.
Oh, don't mind me, my dears. I'll just be getting on with my knitting. Must finish these mitts for my grandson.
Mr. Naruto, those people are... They're jury, yes. That's something we don't have in Japan yet. That's insane. That's right. I've only ever read about it. But here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of 6 jurors. The judge passes the sentence according to law, but the jurors determine guilt based on common sense. So the defendant is ultimately judged from 2 completely different points of view. But how exactly do the jurors give their verdict? That I don't know, but I'm sure it will become clear as the trial progresses. Yes.
Prosecutor van Zieks.
My lord.
It's been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you announced your own fame.
I'm known as the Reaper of the Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity.
So, what brings you back? Is there some change of circumstances which the court should be aware?
I don't like that bow. I like it when someone else does it. I don't like that bow. I leave that to your imagination, my lord. So the Reaper has been out of action for 5 years. Why did he have to choose the day of all days to make a comeback? We're wearing Cosmo-san's armband as well, I think. Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruto.
As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please.
Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this is a case of overwhelming simplicity. We must be the only ones in here who aren't aware. Because the other guy said that too. He has a scroll. The incident took place in the late evening. 3 days past, the hour was some minutes after 10. The victim was a maker of building bricks known in the community as Thrice-Fired Mason. Thrice?
He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible.
Oh no, and he died? The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service on the streets of London at the time. A dagger that had been thrust into the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death. Here is the autopsy report from the investigation. Medical officer at Scotland Yard.
Thank you, counsel. I shall accept that and the photograph as evidence.
A report prepared by Scotland Yard coroner. It gives the cause of death and as internal hemorrhaging as a result of a single stab wound to the abdomen. A photograph of the victim taken on the omnibus. The knife is in his abdomen is clearly visible, but his face is partially obscured by a view by an old crooked hat. And one further item of evidence. The prosecution wishes to submit these as well.
And these are? Good lord! Is that blood, counsel?
Yes, my lord. Seized by policemen arrived at the scene. These gore-soaked gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested. What? Mr. McGilded's gloves had blood on them? That's already very difficult to overcome. This is a beautiful scene, by the way. It's gorgeous.
Yes, I would accept these as evidence as well.
The leather gloves the defendant was wearing at the time of the incident. There's a blood stain on the right glove. How did I get into this? I'm backed into a corner before I've even started. Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside his vehicle at the time. Only 2? Obviously, one of those passengers was the deceased brickmaker, Mr. Mason. The other was the accused, Magnus McGilded. Oh, they're thinking about this now. The other 3 didn't think about it.
Oh, what a damning circumstances to say the least. The defendant, what do you say you?
Well, of course, I've no recollection of such a thing.
Mr. McGilded.
To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening, but whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness, and always I come to it.
Are you claiming to have been asleep?
'Tis the motion of the carriage, my lord. Lit in, so it is. When I opened my eyes again, 'twas a desperate sight before me, the body of a man I'd never laid eyes upon before in my life. Now I ask yous, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about my gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand.
So the blood had gone to the gloves then, after the man had been killed. Stop shaking your head! Unfortunately, that statement of the driver's is only the beginning. What? That's not all of it? There were multiple witnesses to the precise moment at which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed.
Oh dear.
Oh my god, look at our posture, it's great. I have bad posture too, though, so don't worry about that.
Order, order, order.
When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were in the carriage. And there were witnesses to the crime. This is not just a case of compelling evidence. It's the nail in the coffin for the accused.
Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we'll hear testimony from these witnesses first of all.
Your wish is my command. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in at once. Oh god, we have to do more British voices. Oh my god, that looks like... Oh Jesus. Oh, look at these guys. Great music again. Like, the music in this game is fantastic. Witnesses, your names and occupations.
My name is, well, everyone calls me Beppo. I drive an omnibus in the Far East End.
Bruce Fairplay. I'm a banker in the city.
My name's First. Lady First. I'll make hats for gents. Let's begin by confirming the facts. 3 days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and a witness to an aforementioned incident. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, sir. Quite right.
Yes, sir. That's right, sir.
Very well then, proceed to...
I'm almost doing the other voice.
Very well then, proceed to your formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw.
Oh god, here we go. We're doing already. Witness testimony. Get that writing off the screen. Do it in proper text so I can read it. I know what it says, but not everyone's not gonna know what it says. What the witnesses saw.
It was the last bus of the evening. So I had a few customers. I remember it well.
The victim and the man accused of killing was sat next to each other inside the bus. Then out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts.
That's right. He stabbed him. I screamed, I did. Couldn't help it.
As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus and I saw it too.
Jesus, that's a pretty open and shut. That's pretty open and shut. Like, there's 3 people saying that, like, they're, like, the same thing. Like, what do we do with that? What can you do with that? Exactly, my lord.
These men witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their own eyes.
I'd like to ask a question, if I may.
Yes, counsel?
Well, this testimony makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever.
Why not?
Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it?
As has been clearly stated from the outset, yes.
Well, in that case, how could those two witnesses possibly have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of a moving carriage. Maybe they could have. Yeah, you two witnesses. Oh, he's doing the head shake.
How quaint. I read that civilization in the Eastern Lands nation was good a century behind our own. But you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant about our omnibuses?
So they can be seen from... Huh?
Tell me, my Nipponese friend, have you ever traveled in an omnibus?
Well, no. We only arrived in London this morning.
No matter. I've arranged for us all to see for ourselves the actual scene of the crime, that is.
What do you mean? The actual scene? How?
A carriage is designed to be moved after all. Presumably you understand that much?
Yes?
The omnibus in which this bloody crime took place is here today in this very building.
Here? What? The entire carriage?
Bailiff, bring forth the stricken omnibus.
So we're actually going to bring it into the... Oh my Jesus Christ. Calm down, game. There's an omnibus inside the carriage. It's actually beautiful. I love this type of thing. So that's an omnibus. It's the omnibus. I can't believe they could bring something so enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing.
As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses and can carry up to 8 passengers. 4 passengers seated inside the enclosed cabin, and another 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner who knows that the best views of the city or architecture and sights are to be had from the top of the omnibus. And I should point out to our foreign guests that there is a skylight on the roof, allowing for a view of the interior from the seats above.
A skylight?
Oh! The penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats on the omnibus when the murder took place. That is how they came to witness the grim incident. Though the skylight...
That makes perfect sense.
Well, counsel, this is a first. In all my years by the bench, I've never experienced a crime scene itself being brought into the courtroom.
There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish.
Very well, I see no reason why not. This omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence.
The omnibus has entered the courtroom case. The 8-seater omnibus that was the scene of the crime that there were the passengers both inside the carriage on the roof deck that night. I can't believe the entire crime scene entered as evidence. Great Britain is simply extraordinary. I could help myself a lot by giving that omnibus a thorough examination, seeing as it's here. Yeah, can we do that? Are we allowed to do that?
Let us continue proceedings, then. Your cross-examination, counsel. Pray don't expect this Nimbley straight to understand the intricacies of the British court examination rights.
Alright. My first cross-examination in a British court. Ow! Focus, Rinosuke. Focus. What the witness saw
It was the last bus of the evening, so I had a few customers, so I remember it well.
The victim and the man accused of killing were sat next to each other inside the bus. Then out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife into his... Yeah, we should press this, right? You actually saw the exact moment it happened? Didn't I already testify to that? Okay, so nobody seems to be changing. Or a fair dinkum hard working city banker is not considered trustworthy these days. Bankers were never considered trustworthy, my dude. Oh, no, I didn't mean that. This is no good. I've really got to hit his back up. Perhaps he could just...
My lord.
Juror number 3, what is the meaning of this?
My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up.
Made up by what?
I don't like the stinking rich. Never have. They're always up to something or other that they shouldn't be. Every one of them.
Base juror number 3.
And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Well, oh wait, you're talking about my guy? There's no point wasting time listening to any more of this. That's my opinion on the matter anyway. Wait, he's my guy? Wait, I thought they were talking about the banker. No, not my guy. No. Please. I beg of you. Not based.
That is precisely what I was about to say.
Wait, he's doing it as well? That's how you vote?
As the form of the jury, is my duty to set a good example for the fellow jurors.
So that's how you decide guilty? So 2 people decided guilty already? What's happening here? I drew a snake earlier. Do you want to see it? Yeah, I do. Let me see. Yes, it seems that's how the members of the jury give their verdicts. With fire? Apparently, yes. White for innocent and black for guilty. As the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case, one by one, they each cast a ball of fire into the great scale of justice, as we saw a moment ago. So if this enormous scales fall completely to the black side, does that mean... Let's do our very best to make sure it doesn't happen. Now we're even more worried than it was before.
Very well, the court acknowledges that the change in the jury's stats.
The counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. How about... No! This is a nightmare. This is a nightmare.
That's right. Yeah, he stabbed him. I screamed, I did. I couldn't help it.
Let's press this too.
He stabbed him, you say? You're a little prick.
Renosuke's just like, hey, shithead, huh? And you were sitting up on the roof deck, were you?
That's right, I was up on the roof seats.
Oh, he wasn't up on the roof seats, he wasn't.
So why do we, like... Who do we pursue in this matter? Because look at this, like... There's no, like, definite change in expression. I think that's the expression he already had. I remember seeing the little gents...
I was sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed. I've been thinking about the new hat design, you see. So I was just gazing absent-mindedly around. But then, I happened to look down through the skylight. It was sticking right in front of his belly. That huge, great knife.
A grim sight indeed.
That didn't help me at all. I love this interaction with the jury. That appears to make everyone even more dubious that Mr. Gilda is telling the truth. If only we had some more evidence to counter their suspicions.
Mr. First.
Oh, yes, sir. Trying to see what everyone's talking about. Is this the knife you saw?
Oh, good grief. Yes, that's it. The very one, sir.
Is that... Yes, counsel. This is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly like a stake through the heart.
We didn't need you to explain it like that, but thank you. That is the blade considerable side, counsel.
It is, and furthermore, the scabbard is emblazoned prominently with a certain initial that says M. M for Mama, which seems oddly familiar.
Please, no.
M for
Mommy? For Big Mommy? Perhaps, or McGilded possibly. Take your pick. It seems a particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake. Objection. But there are M's everywhere. Like Martin, Mason. Oh my god, Mason. Perfect.
Objection!
Oh, that's a cool objection. This blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. No, the weapon of the murder almost certainly belongs to the accused.
Not conclusive, but certainly compelling counsel. Yeah, this guy's like, I think a lot of this is stacked against us already, you know, pretty early, because like we came in knowing nothing. We have to build up a case based on like no information whatsoever. Whereas like if you look at the Phoenix Wright games, we come into each trial with like the most amount of information, to the point that like it's almost impossible to fail in some cases. I know like it can get difficult, but it can also be sometimes just totally impossible to fail. A largest knife that was found lodged in the victim's abdomen. Its quality and fancy ornaments suggest it must be quite valuable.
My lord, if you will forgive the interruption.
Juror number 2, go on.
Mr. McGilded is a pillar of society and a gentleman, and a gentleman's word should be sacrosanct. However,
No!
those of us in service know we must accept the hard truths. No!
Wait, what do you buy? It's hard for me to like do this though, right? It's hard for me to like go against this lady. She is in service. She knows what rich people are like. Of course she has some biases, and I think those biases like are founded as well. It's hard for me to like be upset with her in a way, you know? It is kind of hard. Because I imagine she's like gone through the ringer as well with these goddamn richies. It's over. Can we?
I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all traces of filth and grime.
I've painstakingly typed every word uttered here today and cross-referenced all the facts. As such, I'm now in position to draw the only logical conclusion.
What? It's over? Can you change your vote?
That's 4 out of 6 jury members have now proposed a guilty verdict. There are only 2 left. We've had it. Every time I press the witnesses for more information, I just make the situation worse. Nevertheless, what we need more than anything at this moment is more information. We're still very much in the dark. I suppose I just have to keep pressing the witnesses, knowing that more sparks may fly well. We mustn't give up hope that we'll uncover something that will give away as a way to fight back. But, alright, I'll keep trying. I can't give up. I just need to keep calm and listen to witnesses' statements again. Jesus Christ.
As soon as I heard the screamer stop my bus, I saw it too.
Hold it!
We have to press it. What exactly did you see?
Oh, well, sir, that would be the passenger cell. Yes, collapsed on the floor he was.
So you only saw him collapse on the floor? I'm watching you, you idiot. With the same haircut as me.
Dumbass haircut with the same haircut as me. And by the passenger, obviously you are referring to the victim, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker.
And the other passenger had that knife in his hand like this.
By the other passenger, obviously you are referring to the accused, Mr. Magnus McGilded.
And then you plunged it down like this, stabbing the other passenger in the belly.
What? I really love the character designs as well. Like this whole thing is so beautifully designed. Yeah, we're getting more and more like in the hole, but I think this is intentional. I don't think we're like doing the wrong thing here. It's hard to believe that one of London's greatest philanthropists, but this is damning indeed. I mean, if he did it, he did it. The law knows no philanthropist, my lord. Only the innocent and the guilty. What about the smelly and the not smelly? The smelly and the not smelly are most important.
Couldn't agree more, sir.
Right.
Yes.
I'm watching everyone else just to see if they say anything else, say anything different. All right. So when it happened, the only 2 people in the enclosed cabin area were the victim and the defendant. And so help me, 3 whole people witnessed the man I'm trying to defend do the deed. Yeah, that's not good. That is the opposite of good. What am I supposed to do? Supposed to think here? Is Mr. McGilder really innocent? Or could it be... Before we jump to conclusions, our first task should be to gather information. We need to understand the case much better than we do at the moment. Yes, you're absolutely right. Let's listen to those witness statements again. A little more carefully this time. A little more carefully. There's only one we haven't pressed, which is this one, right? So it was... We read... The victim of the man accused of killing were sat right next to each other on the bus. So let's press all of them. Let's press all of them, because I'm not quite sure what to do here. Usually we have an idea of what to press. Yeah, I think it was sometime after 10, wasn't it? Oh, yes, sir. Look, he's like, 10? 10, I think. It was freezing, in fact. And you had 4 passengers on board at the time? Is that correct? That's right, sir. Not traveling in the same parts of the bus, but of course, though, no. And there were no other passengers when the incident took place. No one alighted, for example? Quite right with that, sir. No other passengers like none. So nobody fled the scene of the crime then. I have to say, the boss insists on running, he does, every evening, the last bus of the day. But I do wonder sometimes if it's altogether worthwhile. Yes, sorry to say. Oh, you can put your problems on us, dude. That's fine. Actually, we're in a court case right now, so maybe not. What do you mean by that? Well, oh, is he going to reveal something here? What with it being so cold and everything and only making 20 pence on the run, you see? Yes, I spent that much on the pub on the way home just trying to get warm up. Oh, that's so bad, Beppo. Beppo, my dude. I just can't believe it, sir. I can't believe it. A murder on my own bus. That is kind of harrowing to realize. It's just too awful to think about. I haven't been able to shake this cold ever since it happened. Oh no. My lord, I wish to speak. Yes, juror number 5. Do I take it that you too... At the Muscle Lord Guild of Coachmen. The idea of a murder being committed in one of the city's carriages is utterly abhorrent to me. Are you serious? This dude's gonna vote as well. Great design, gonna vote. We're fricked. We're so fricked. But I've heard enough now. The horse is bolted, as they say. No, please. Gee up now, Silver Blaze. The finish is in sight. Wait, so what happens now? Like, can they re-vote? If they can re-vote, then we can win this. But like, if there's, like, does it have to be? It has to be unanimous, is it? Beb was a long-standing member of the guild, and I trust what the man says. And like, I can totally understand it from your perspective too.
Oh, thank you, sir. You're too kind, sir.
This is too unkind, sir. Which now means that the 5 jurors agreed to condemn this man. We just need the sweetest old lady in the world.
I think he's a fucking criminal.
Madam Juror, number 6.
Yes, dear. What can I do for you?
You've heard the testimonies of the witnesses in the stand. See, he's winning the trial here by, like, I think he's being very forceful. In fact, like, his methods are pretty good. Like, it's like pound the information right at the start, reveal everything that like is worthwhile to the jury, and have like all the evidence like front and center that is pretty damning. And like just like you just go for it, race to the finish line. Like that's it. Don't let even people think. It's actually very smart.
Oh yes, I certainly have. Still got my hearing, you know.
Then pray tell, why are you yet to pronounce your... Oh, cool. I'm replaying it for like the 6th time at this point. I just wanted to replay it, I don't know why. And you pronounce your leaning?
Well, dear, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park at around this time of the day and sit on a nice bench and get on with my knitting. There's a lovely little park just near where I live. Miss Gilded Park. Oh! The gentleman donated to the city, you know, to put a smile on his face here. So this is actually a very interesting way of like having it as well. She's actually like fully like supporting him because of like
I guess because, like, of how much he's done for the town or the city itself. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have it in him to take another man's life. He's always doing wonderful things for the city. That's right, a man like that wouldn't stab someone. Oh, everyone's still on our side as well. Mother, we got to make it the public library after later and bought some books. How many Londoners live on their heads in the clouds? Do people not know what kind of man Magnus McGilded really is? What kind of man is he? The philanthropist Magnus McGilded has enough wealth to purchase the entire city he claims to value so highly. But where did all that wealth come from? Your client is a Shylock, sir, and one with the very darkest of souls. Really?
Stone the crows.
There's a love heart on that lady. You're beautiful. McGill lends money at extortionate rates of interest, so his victims have no hope of repaying him. Oh no, if he does that, I can't defend him. I'm done with him. Like, if he does that, I'm done with him. Like, I can't defend that. Like, I literally cannot defend that. When the default, he takes possession of everything they own. He is a vulture that preys on the weak. I never heard any mention that before. Yeah, this is going to be a turning point for this as well. Your faculties haven't deserted you, I'm sure, madame. So has this thought not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own? Crap. He's very good. What possible reason could this man have had to make use of public omnibus service? You're not saying that... The victim, a poor brickmaker, had next to nothing to his name, save considerable financial liability. It will come as no surprise that his creditor was accused Magnus McGilded. Serious? But also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed, the final repayment was a date for his debts. We're in trouble. The brickmaker was destitute. He had lost his house. He had not a shilling with which to repay his debts. And in the end, this pitiful soul had the very last thing he owned taken from him. His life. By the merciless philanthropist pretender Magnus McGilded. I don't believe it. Hold it. Oh, that was her. If I add something briefly? Yes, do, please. Mrs. Otto. You claimed that the victim had been lent money by the McGilded. But where's the evidence to support your claim? Oh, don't ask for evidence, he'll give it to you. Oh, I was wondering why that bottle of wine was just sitting there. Now I was like, wait, why is that there? Drinking on the job? Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice in court of law. There it is. Law van Zieks hallowed chalice. Yeah, you can't have like a theme, right? Like, that's not fair. He's like a beloved person in this courtroom. How can this be considered acceptable? But I find myself in unexpectedly good humor. I had heard ladies from the Far East could show great courage, but I didn't expect to experience it myself. As a judicial assistant of defense, I'm simply doing my job. What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is the debtor's ledger, which details all monies loaned by the accused. Monies is always a funny word to me. You will find the victim's name clearly recorded inside. Oh. Allow me to present this ledger as evidence. And pray forgive the discourtesy of raising my chalice in a toast to the enigmatic East at the same time.
A marvelous toast, counsel. I will gladly accept this new evidence.
Yeah, you bet you would. A catalogue of people who have borrowed money from the defendant at a high rate of interest includes the victim who owed 20 guineas. 20 guinea pigs. Like, I couldn't imagine owning one hamster.
Ah, yes, 20 guineas. The victim owed a considerable sum.
And the accused made quite certain that he had ample recompense.
Well, it would seem I've the wool pulled over my eyes.
Oh, she's very upset about it as well. Her face is going red. Regrettably, madame, that is a modus operandi of the accused. And it's such a pretty little
park, too. What a scoundrel.
Oh no, is it over?
Still. Maybe it's all for the best.
No! Wait, what happens now? Is this not the end? This is the end, right? That's guilty. How do court systems work? Our faces in the dirt. Figuratively. That was the last juror's decision. I drew a cat. According to the Encyclopedia of British Law, when all members of the jury have concluded the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. That's what it says here. We're done? The final verdict's over then. Oh. We have a chance? There's a footnote though. A footnote? However, the defense... No, shut up! Oh, they're playing like ending music. I think it's this music the end of the first trial as well. I'm going to convey my respect for you. Swift and righteous decision. According to the laws of this country, I will now conclude the trial by delivering my final verdict. I trust there's no objections. There is an objection for me. I'm big objector. Mrs. Otto, just tell me one thing. Oh, yes. You were in the middle of saying something before. The footnote in your Encyclopedia of British Law. However, the defense... What did it say next? Oh, yes. Of course. One moment. It would have been important to keep saying that. When all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended, and then the footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summation examination of the jurors at this point. You can examine the jurors? Oh, do it. Summation examination? A summation examination. From which century has that tome you have there been resurrected? Judging from the binding, I would say that book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text in British law wouldn't even give such an antiquated procedure as mentioned. Is it illegal though? That's the big question. It's a relic long forgotten and certainly no longer practiced. So you're out of luck. What even is it, Mrs. Otto? This so-called summation examination. One moment, and I'll read about it. You would demand the right to procedure before you even understand what it entails. Typical Nipponese. Alright, Mr. Naruto, I think I understand. It seems that under this procedure, we will be able to appeal to the members of the jury. To do what, exactly? Appeal to them to change their leaning and reserve their decisions. And it says here that if successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed. Oh, we can just do that. Make the reverse their decision. Yes, in times gone by, barristers would use a summation examination to attempt to influence the jury's decision. But that procedure became something of a formality with no practical benefit, really, so it rather fell out of use. I wonder why. Because it was devoid of purpose. Changing just one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister would even assert his right to try in this day and age. Still, I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked. Exactly. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that although it may be antiquated and largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. What do you think, Mr. Naruto? I think we go for it. What else can what do we have to lose? Summation examination, our last possible option. Do we assert our right to carry it out? Of course. The defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination, my lord. Stop objecting! London is the capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very highest standards in judicial procedure, and only in judicial procedure. Everything else we're pretty disgusting at. Summation examinations are an embarrassment that should remain buried, just like your hair. Objection. But if it's our right, it's our right. I believe it could prove vital in this. The defense position is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with the summation examination. This is madness. Foreman, are you and the remainder of the jury ready? I'm not,
Well, I'm not, I was mentioned this in the letter I received, you see, so... All members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they have reached a decision. On what grounds?
You must all justify your decision and explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty. Yeah, this is what we need because they just like chose willy-nilly. Well, you're right, putting us on the spot. Yeah, that's the point. Oh, look, they're all sweating as well. See, this guy's definitely a grifter. Like, look, he has a weapon. That's used for secretly stabbing people. I don't really hold with all this justifying lock. Shut up, juror number 4. Yeah, it does, because they didn't expect to have to explain themselves. It seems none of them have experienced this before. Alright then, the summation examination. A defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attempted for years, is it? Well, just maybe. It might be the opportunity we've been looking for. To turn this trial around. So be it then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant Magnus McGilda guilty of this most serious crime. Oh my god, here we go. So we have to guess why they did this. The jurors' contentions.